I am Dr. Rajbir Singh, Professor Animal Husbandry, School of Agricultural Science, IIMT University, Meerut. Dear students, today we will discuss common terminology, common terms which are frequently used in animal husbandry. First of all, we should know what is animal husbandry, what is the definition of animal husbandry. A science or the science which deals with animal production is known as animal husbandry. Or in another word, we can say the science which deals with animal breeding, feeding and management is known as animal husbandry. What is dairy science? The science which deals with animal production and processing of milk and milk products is known as dairy science. What is dairy animal? The animal which produced more milk than the requirement of their young one, or the animal which produced extra milk than the requirement of their young one is known as dairy animal. For example, cattle, buffalo, sheep and goat are considered as dairy animal. Although milk production quality is available in pig or female pig, bitch also, but they produced milk as per the requirement of their young one, or they produce milk for the feeding of their young one only. They don't produce extra milk than the requirement of dairy, their offspring or their progeny. Hence, pig and bitch are not considered as dairy animal. So, dairy animals are those animals which produced more milk than the requirement of their young one. Now, what is animal breeding? In simple words, the animal breeding is the mating of a male and female animal. But scientifically, the animal breeding may be defined as mating of male and female animal for a particular purpose is known as animal breeding. What is that particular purpose? That particular purpose is production of offspring, or you can say mating of a male and female animal for production of offspring is known as animal breeding. What is cell? The smallest functional unit of body is known as cell. What is gene? The smallest unit of heredity is known as gene. What is allele? The alternative form of a gene is known as allele. What is genotype? The genetic constitution of an individual is known as genotype. What is phenotype? The external expression of an individual is known as phenotype. Or in another word, the expression of genes or genotype is known as phenotype. Phenotype is equal to genotype and environment. Or you can say the combined effect of genotype and environment is known as phenotype. What is phenotypic value? Value of a trait measured in a metric unit. The value of a trait measured in metric unit in case of quantitative traits, and or measured by making observation in case of qualitative trait is known as phenotypic value. What is quantitative traits? The traits which are controlled by so many pairs of minor genes or polygenes affected by environment or highly affected by environment and can be measured by unit of measurement is known as quantitative trait. I will explain it again. The traits which are controlled by so many pairs of gene or minor genes affected by or highly affected by environment and can be measured by unit of measurement such as milk yield, age at first calving interval, lactation length, etc. is known as quantitative traits. What is qualitative traits? The traits which are controlled by which is controlled by major gene, or you can say the traits which are controlled by one or few pairs of major gene is known as qualitative traits. These traits are not affected or least affected by environment and cannot be measured by any unit of measurement. For example, body color of the animal, blood group of the animal, horned or polled condition, or you can say presence of horn or absence of horn in case of sheep and cattle. What is minor gene? The genes whose effect is minor or whose effect is small is known as minor gene. There are so many pairs of minor gene controlled a trait. Hence, minor genes is known as polygenes also. What is major gene? The gene whose effect is large and the genes whose effect is large is known as major gene. These genes are also called oligogene. The effect of major gene can be recognized, whereas effect of minor gene cannot be recognized. Here see the difference between minor gene and major gene. Minor gene are those genes whose effect is small, and so many pairs of minor gene controlled a trait, and the effect of a minor gene or effect of a minor gene cannot be recognized. Whereas major gene, the gene whose effect is large is known as major gene. These major gene also called oligogene, and the effect of a major gene can be recognized. What is homozygous? An individual said to be homozygous when its allele at a locus are identical, or you can say in simple word, an individual having similar or identical genes at a locus. For example, capital R, small r. Such condition is known as homozygous condition. What is heterozygous? An individual said to be heterozygous when its allele at a locus are dissimilar or not identical, or you can say individual having dissimilar gene at a locus is known as heterozygous. For example, capital R, small r. This condition is known as heterozygous. Recessive. A gene whose effect does not express in F1 generation is known as recessive gene. What is locus? Dear student, you know where the genes are located. The genes are located on the chromosome, and position of the genes on the chromosome is known as locus. What is loci? The plural of locus is known as loci. What is dominant? A gene whose effect is expressed in F1 generation is known as dominant gene. Recessive. A gene genes whose effect or a gene whose effect does not expressed in F1 generation is known as recessive gene. Genetics. What is genetics? A branch of biological science which deals with heredity and variation is known as genetics. What is heredity? Transmission of character or transmission of genes from one generation to next generation is known as heredity. What is variation? Differences among individuals in a population for a single trait or within individual between two traits is known as variation. And variation can be measured by variance and covariance. Variance is a measurement of the variation of a single trait among individuals in a population, whereas covariance is the measurement of variation between two traits within individual. What is gamete? Male or female reproductive cells are known as gametes. In case male, sperm is a gamete, and in case of female, ovum is a gamete. What is diploid cell? A cell having single set of chromosome is known as diploid cell. A cell having double set of chromosome is known as diploid cell. Haploid cell. A cell having single set of chromosome is known as haploid cell. For example, sperm and ova are the haploid cell. Individual. What is individual? The smallest unit of a population is known as individual. Or in another word, any single measurement which is discontinuous in time and space is known as individual. What is population? A group of interbreeding individuals having common gene pool is known as population. Now, what is relative? Individuals having common parents are known as relatives. What is fullship? Individual having both parents common is known as or are known as fullship. Individuals having both parents common are known as fullship. The pedigree. In this pedigree, C and D are fullship. Why they are fullship? Because they have both the parents common. In this pedigree, A is common for C and D both, and another parent B is also common for C and D. Here, C and D are having both parents common. Hence, they are known as fullship. In this pedigree shows that C and D are fullship. Halfship. Individual having only one parent common is known as halfship. Individuals having only one parent common are known as halfship. This pedigree shows that here X and Y are halfship. Why they are halfship? Because X and Y is having only one parent common, that is A. In this pedigree, A is common for both X and Y, but another parent are not common. Hence, X and Y are half-sib. Understand? I repeat again. Individual having both parents common are known as full sib, and individual having only one parent common are known as half sib. In this pedigree, C and D are full brother, or maybe full sister, or maybe brother and sister, real brother and sister, because both the parents are common. Father of C and D is common, and mother B is also common for C and D. Hence, they are real, maybe brother, maybe sister, or maybe brother and sister. Or you can say C and D are full sib. Example of full sib is real brothers, real brother and sister, or two real sisters are known as full sib. Here I told that half sib. Individuals having only one parent common are known as half sib, or in common relation. Here X and Y are step brothers, or maybe step brother sister, or maybe step sister, because they are having only one parent, only father is common, and mother of X and Y both are different. Mother of X is B and mother of Y is C. In this pedigree, father is common and mother are different for X and Y. Hence, they are called half sib. And the example of half sib are step brothers, or step sisters, or step brother and sister. What is species? A group of inbreeding individual, having common gene pool is known as species. For example, cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, pig, camels are the different species of the animals. So what is species? Species is a group of interbreeding individuals having common gene pool. What is breed? A group of individual or a group of animal within a species having common origin and common characteristics is known as breed. And what is strain? A group of animal within breed having certain common characteristics which distinguished them from the other animal of the same breed is known as species. Or what is species? Species is a group of animal within breed having certain common characteristics is known as strain. And strain is being developed through selection over generation. What is line? A group of animal produced through inbreeding. The inbred lines are more closely related than the other animal of the same breed. I repeat again, what is line? Group of animal which are produced through inbreeding. Such animals are more closely related than the another animal of the same breed. What is trait? Trait or character? any observable property, any observable or measurable property of an individual is known as trait. Observable property in case of qualitative trait and measurable property in case of quantitative trait of an individual is known as trait. What is dominance? Interaction between allelic genes is known as dominance. What is epistasis? Interaction between non-allelic genes is known as epistasis. What is fertilization? Union of male and female reproductive cells is known as fertilization, or union of ovum and spermatozoa is known as fertilization. What is fecundity? To give multiple birth at a time. For example, in case of sheep, goat, sow and beach, multiple birth takes place at a time. So such condition or such situation is known as fecundity. Fecundity means to give the multiple birth at a time is known as fecundity. What is additive gene action? When genes act in an additive manner is known as additive gene action. And what is non-additive gene action? The gene act in a non-additive manner is known as non-additive gene action. Non-additive gene action can be denoted by NAGA, N-A-G-A, NAGA, non-additive gene action. Whereas additive gene action can be symbolized by AGA, A-G-A, additive gene action. Phenotypic variation. The observable or measurable differences among individuals. The observable or measurable differences among individuals on a single trait is known as phenotypic variation. And this variation is the raw material with which animal breeder works. If there is no phenotypic variability in the population, then nothing can be done such population for genetic improvement. If variability is there, then breeding and selection are the two tools to exploit this variability exist in the population. What is parameter? Criteria of measurement is known as parameter. Criteria of measurement is known as parameter. What is population parameter? The population parameter are those parameters through which a population can be described. Or you can say the parameter by which the population can be described are known as population parameter. Population parameter for quantitative traits are mean, variance and covariance, whereas population parameter for qualitative traits are percentage, ratio, gene frequency and genotypic frequency. What is genetic parameters of a population, or what are the genetic parameters of a population? Heritability, repeatability and genetic correlation are the genetic parameter for qualitative and quantitative traits of a population. What is the record? The observation or measurement of a character on an individual. The measurement and or a observation on a character on an individual is known as record. What is monozygotic twins? You have listened twins. The twins may be two types. Monozygotic twin, the twins which arise from single zygote are known as monozygotic twins. Monozygotic twins are genetically 100% similar. The sex of both twins will be same. Either they will be both male or they will be female. The phenotypic expression of the monozygotic twins are 100% similar if same environmental condition provided for the both monozygotic twins. आप देखते हैं कई बार सोसाइटी में कि दो बच्चे एक ही जैसी शक्ल के हैं, उनको कोई पहचान नहीं सकता कि छोटा कौन सा है बड़ा कौन सा है, तो वे मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस ही होते हैं. द मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस अराइजेज बाय डिवीजन ऑफ जाइगोट ड्यूरिंग डेवलपमेंट. वन सिंगल जाइगोट divided into two zygote, and both the zygote become fetus. If the calf are produced by division of single zygote, such calf or such organism कह लीजिए are known as monozygotic twins. Dizygotic twin. The twins arise from two different zygotes are known as dizygotic twin. Dizygotic twins are similar to full sibs. Both the dizygotic twins may be one male or one female, or maybe both male or both female. It is the genetic makeup of both are not same as in case of monozygotic twin. In case of monozygotic twins, genetic makeup of both the twins are 100% similar. But in case of dizygotic twins, the genetic makeup of the both twins are not 100% similar. They are similar as full sibs. What is parturition? Act of giving birth is known as parturition. बच्चा देने की जो प्रक्रिया होती है उसको parturition कहते हैं. What is cowing? Giving the birth to the offspring in case of cows and buffalo is known as cowing, or act of parturition in case of cow and buffalo is known as cowing. What is lambing? Giving the birth of offspring by a sheep is known as lambing, or in simple word you can say act of parturition in sheep is known as lambing. What is kidding? Giving the birth of offspring in case of goat is known as kidding, or in another word you can say act of parturition in goats is known as kidding. What is farrowing? Giving the birth of the offspring by sow or by female pig is known as farrowing, or in another word you can say act of parturition in sow or in female pig is known as farrowing. What is service period? It is the interval between a date of cowing and a date of successful service in a lactation is known as service period. डेट ऑफ काविंग और डेट ऑफ सक्सेसफुल सर्विस के बीच का जो पीरियड होता है उसको सर्विस पीरियड कहते हैं. व्हाट इज लैक्टेशन लेंथ? द नंबर ऑफ डेज ए काउ एंड बफेलो रिमेन्स इन द मिल्क इज नोन एज लैक्टेशन लेंथ. और इन अनदर वर्ड, द ड्यूरेशन बिटवीन डेट ऑफ काविंग एंड डेट ऑफ ड्राइंग इन ए लैक्टेशन is known as, what is calving interval? The interval between two subsequent calving is known as calving interval. What is peak yield? The highest yield of a day in a lactation is known as peak yield. What is peak production? The highest yield of a lactation of a cow or buffalo in her lifetime, पूरे लाइफ टाइम के अंदर किसी एक ब्यात का हाईएस्ट मिल्क यील्ड को कहते हैं पीक प्रोडक्शन. व्हाट इज पीक प्रोडक्शन? इट इज़ द हाईएस्ट मिल्क प्रोडक्शन ऑफ ए लैक्टेशन इन द लाइफ टाइम ऑफ ए काउ और बफेलो. एज एट मैच्योरिटी, the age of female at the time of first heat, or in case of male, age of a male at the time of first ejaculation of semen is known as age of maturity. What is gestation period? The period between date of conception and date of calving in a lactation is known as gestation period, or the period for which a female carry fetus is known as gestation period or gestation length. In case of cow, the gestation period is 270 plus minus 10 days, and in case of buffalo it is 300 plus minus 10 days. What is herd? A group of cow or buffalo is known as herd. पशुओं के समूह को क्या कहते हैं? गायों के समूह को झुंड कहते हैं, हर्ड कहते हैं. उसी तरीके से भैंसों के समूह को भी झुंड या हर्ड कहते हैं. एंड व्हाट इज फ्लोक? ग्रुप ऑफ सीप और गोट is known as flock. What is stock? Group of pigs is called stock. In animal nutrition, you have lesson ration or balanced ration. What is ration? The feeds and fodder given to an animal in a 24-hour is known as ration. 24 घंटे में जो भी पशु को खिलाया पिलाया जाता है वो राशन कहलाता है. And what is balanced ration? The ration given to the individual having, or the ration which have all the nutrients as per the requirement of an animal is known as balanced ration. और वो राशन जिसमें पशु की आवश्यकता के अनुरूप सभी पोषक तत्व सही मात्रा में अवेलेबल हों वो कहलाता है बैलेंस्ड राशन. थैंक यू वेरी मच.